Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today, September 23rd, 2019, and another relatively sort of small show. Just a few kit releases from overseas, and next week will be the big show. Next week we will be coming back to you, obviously, on Monday the 30th, and that will be after the All Japan Model and Hobby Show has taken place, and so in addition to, sort of filling in the last of the kit releases for the month of September, we will also have the coverage from the show. Depending on what the coverage from the show looks like, we may just split that out into its own episode, but that will be the sort of the thing to look forward to, assuming you care about kits that don't come from America, I suppose. But speaking of kits that come from America, let's delve into the latest of Salvino's JR, shall we? I don't want to. I don't want. I'm tired of talking about these people and their stupid mistakes. So, if you've gotten a Richard Petty Buick Regal in the hopes of getting tire decals for your Richard Petty Oldsmobile, you have, of course, found out by now that, well, those don't exist. Those decals aren't in there. And so from talking to a few people, including Scott, up at Elm City Hobbies, the excuse being given now is that, well, those extra decals were not ready in time to be shipped with the kit. And I guess now they're going to try to ship those decals out to dealers, which is fantastic, assuming you have a local hobby shop to go get those decals from. I don't know what your solution is if you bought it on eBay, if you bought it at a show, if you happen to live in a area or perhaps country that doesn't carry Salvino JR, in a frontline way, and a friend bought them for you. I guess your friend now has to go get you some decals because there has been no sort of formal announcement as to what exactly the solution is for customers like that. As a matter of fact, if you were to go on to Salvino JR's social media, you would find out that you can pick up their chrome tree with a magnet. You could find out that one of their cars has been built and is on the table at Dale Jr.'s podcast. However, actually dealing with their customers, who cares? It's no big deal. I don't understand how it could be any simpler than this. If the decals weren't there in time, then you hold the kit until they're there. It's not like the people were going to break the doors down with torches and pitchforks and riot in your parking lot if they didn't get a Buick Regal that particular Friday as opposed to the next one. So, yay, another tripping misstep of customer service from your friends at Salvino JR. And again, there's been no public actual, addressing of this. The only reason I know about it is because I know people in, hobby retailing that have who have had, talks with Jim Rogers, who's the JR part of Salvino JR, in regards to what's going to happen with this. They've made no public announcement. There is absolutely no statement from Salvino's JR. I say Salvino's like there's an S on that. From Salvino JR saying, "Oh, P.S. by the way, if you were going to go buy that kit specifically to get decals for this kit, yeah, those aren't on there, so you shouldn't buy that." Why would they tell you not to buy something? That's silly. So, moving on to more positive news, let's talk about what kits there are this week in the wonderful world of model car hobby. A few reissues, obviously. One is a restock from Fujimi. It is the Mazda RX-8 Type S. And remember there was a car after the RX-7? Remember that? Yeah, I do vaguely. I have one of these, not this particular version of it. I can't remember what it's called. It's buried behind my resin boxes on my Mazda shelf, but it's like the America Type A or something like that. Basically, it's just a mold. Mine's molded in dark blue with some like red and white stripes and a different set of wheels than that one. It's a curbside. It's a very basic curbside. It's a Fujimi kit, so of course there's basically no interior detail or anything else like that, but it has a wildly detailed chassis for some reason. The body is kind of hit or miss as far as accuracy goes, but it is what it is, I guess, in that sense. Over at Fujimi, we got their two wheel sets for the month of September, and they are the 15-inch Watanabe RSs. Pretty much your standard 4-lug Watanabes here. They do come with tires like all the rest of these Fujimi wheel sets have been coming with, but you know, it's I don't have a lot to say there because if you've seen a Watanabe, you've seen them all. And then we have this set of 17-inch wire wheels. These are basically like the wire wheels they released last month, where the wheel barrel, it's not a wheel barrow, not the thing you fill with dirt and move around, but the wheel barrel, the part that makes the lip in the of the wheel, is cast with a spoke pattern, and then there's a top part and a bottom part to the wheel inserts that also have spoke patterns, so that when you sandwich the three things together, you get sort of the intertwined wire wheel spoke thing going on. And then there's sort of a regular center cap, and then it has the knockoff thing again. Basically, it's just a bigger version of the 15-inch wheels that were released last month. And then over at Hasegawa, you have one kit reissue, and it is this, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6 1999 Rally New Zealand winner. One thing I love about this box art is it makes it almost look like this car has been censored because it has some sort of naughty livery, but in fact that is just mud. Legitimately just mud. This rally is held in July, which of course for anybody who lives, in North America, Europe, Japan, that's summer, but in New Zealand, because it's on the bottom of the planet, it is wintertime, and apparently it rained really hard at the very beginning of this rally, and everything turned into one large mud pit. So Tommy Mäkinen won this rally. This is winning livery for his car, and it's an Evo 6 rally kit. They've released several of these recently, just a different set of decals in there. Over at Aoshima, a couple of releases in the model car line for this week. First up, you have this. It is the 1/20th scale, and again, I think these are old Nito kits. The Subaru Rex Daihatsu Cura, something like that. Much like the kit from last month, these ride the same chassis. But the interiors and obviously the bodies are different. Basically, you get the chassis, you're building the interior onto the top of the chassis pan itself. So there's a couple different sets of seats, a couple different sets of door panel inserts, and then obviously there's a body for each car. So 2 bodies, one of everything else, and you're on your way with that. This is another set of cars that if it was in 1/24 scale, I would probably pick up a set. It's probably not realistic to expect them to ever do these in 1/20th scale, but I think it'll be a fun line of like retro K cars. I don't know if these are technically K cars or just really small compacts, but these two, the 2 we got last month, I think it would be fun in a 1/24 scale sort of way. Sounds like something Hasegawa should do, really. But those are out, and then also released this week is this, the Toyota Aristo, in its 1991 format here. This kit is pretty much just a factory stock kit. It does have some ground effect pieces. It's not like VIP or anything else like that, but just it does have some ground effects, a rear spoiler, things like that. There are 3 sets of wheels included in this. You get the factory stock wheels that are on the box art, and then 2 other sets as well. So, you get a couple of spare sets of wheels in there. This is JDM only. It doesn't come with any of the left-hand drive parts because the Aristo is also the Lexus GS400. Aoshima did one of those, but they do not include the left-hand drive pieces or anything like that with this one. So Aristo it is, and that's all there is to it. And then last for this week, not a whole heck of a lot going on, is this, the reissue of the Ebro Citroen HY van, this time with figures. So yeah, you see here on the box art, you get 3 figures, 2 young girls and a adult female. The adult female is working the crepe mobile, and the young ladies are just attempting to get a tasty snack. The crepe mobile itself, as far as that mobile kitchen thing, has been released before, so that's not new. It legitimately just is the 3 injection molded figures for this. So amortizing the tooling a little bit there. I'm not necessarily sure how many people give crap one way or the other. I mean, it sort of does build sort of an actual vignette style diorama at this point with the figures included, but that is back out. Their version is a curbside compared to the full detail kit you get out of the Heller kit, and it does of course always beg the question of why we needed 2 Citroen HY kits at the same time. But if nothing else, you can build the Heller early. I believe the Ebro builds only a late version, and you can have every version of the Citroen HY that has existed at the time. So there's always that, I guess. Guys, that pretty much wraps this one up. This weekend coming, there are several model car shows going on. If you are in sort of the Northeast, very, very Eastern Midwest, if you will. Over in Jersey at the Police Athletic League in Wayne Township, New Jersey, which is where, of course, the NNL East is held. Diversified Scalers show is Saturday. If you're closer out of my end of Pennsylvania and you're looking for stuff to do, Saturday there is the Y City Scale Modelers Show in Zanesville, Ohio. And then Sunday will be the Three Rivers Auto Modelers Show, which is held in Castle Shannon, the same venue that we hold our show earlier in the year in March. So, I mean, everybody pretty much knows where that is. I think Three Rivers is on the 30-something if it's show. I don't know if I have the flyer handy or not. I have a flyer. They mailed me one in the mail the other day, but I don't think I actually have it in my stack of flyers for... Nope, I certainly don't. But that is, like I said, a Sunday show. Very rare Sunday show. A lot of shows, most shows, it seems like, are held on Saturday mornings anymore. Castle Shannon, Pittsburgh area will hold you a Sunday show, so you get out of the house for that. We will be, I kind of wanted to go to Diversified Scales. I have not been to that show before. They had an interesting theme for their parking lot, the Euro Fest, so anything European based. No shock, no surprise, didn't get anything done for that. So I'm not going to make the drive. It's just, 7+ hour drive one way for Rule, 6 hour drive one way for me. So we'll be in Zanesville, and we will be at Castle Shannon, repping the BMW Z4 that we built earlier this year. See if we can get a little more travel out of that for its basically the back half of its show season. And then I don't know what the month will hold beyond that. There's a show in Cleveland. There's a show in Virginia in November. Kind of deciding what we're going to do there, if anything. Of course, the last NNL in Toledo is in October. I would like to make the trip just to say I was at the last NNL, but I don't know if the way work has been recently, and I realize that. If I sit here and I think about it, I complain about work on this channel a lot, but it's just that my night guy quit a few weeks ago, and they have not really figured out a way to, replace him through other employees as of yet. So it just continues to be a crazy nut job nonsense at work. So we're gonna have to see how that mellows out over the course of the fall here to see if we're gonna make a trip to Ohio or trip to Ohio in October, a trip to Ohio or Virginia in November, or just hunker down for the winter and pretend that the summer didn't actually take place. That's overly dramatic. It hasn't been that bad a year. It's just been a very frustrating couple of weeks at work. So anyway, guys, that wraps up this one. Again, like I said, next week we should have the All Japan Model Hobby Show. Very interesting to see if there's any movement from Tamiya on the Supra. Obviously, that was announced, but there's no kind of release date for it. There's no pre-order for it right now. So is there going to be a kit of it there? Or is it just going to be like, oh, we're going to do the Supra at some point? We'll see what happens with BMAX and Nunu Hobby. People seem to still want to insist that Aoshima makes BMAX's kits, which isn't true and never was true. But there has been an increasing tension between Aoshima and the folks who own BMAX and Nunu, because they're the same company, just different names, as far as the distribution of kits go, because we're almost in October, which means that the Toyota Carina British touring car and the Brabham BT52 F1 car have been out in China and Europe for almost a month now, but they have yet to be distributed in Japan for some reason. That's certainly not making anyone over there very happy. Based on what I've seen going into the hobby show, it seems like the Starion and the MP42C McLaren F1 car are probably going to be the last two kits you see with a BMAX name and Aoshima tag on them until that agreement expires, and they can sort of use the BMAX name again. Everything else is going to come through Nunu and Platts. Platts obviously doesn't make their own kits. They've licensed out people to make kits for them. In terms of like the Gerlin Panzer drift cars, those are Fujimi kits with decal sheets thrown in them. Platts doesn't make anything. They are a hobby distributor, period. So They import Italeri to Japan. They import Round 2 to Japan, along with several other companies, Trumpeter, Dragon, I think, as well. So they're a little more free in their ability to sell things to make money rather than being like, oh well, we don't want to release too many kits this month, or too many that they seem to be getting out of Aoshima. And Aoshima is not just treating those guys bad. I mean, Aoshima also distributes Bell kits in Japan as well, and those kits seem to have a 6-month delay from the time they're released in Europe to the time you actually get them in Japan. So uh, I'm not sure what the deal is there. Not being a very good distributor if you don't actually distribute other people's products, but it is what it is. But I would not be, like I said, totally surprised to not see a actual BMAX kit come out for a little while once these couple of things that are just tagged as BMAX kits come out. Just because it seems like, at least from what's trending right now, everything's going to come out via the Nunu name and Platts. And sorry, my distracted there. My printer just popped up on screen there and wanted me to ask if I wanted to do some sort of survey for my printer. No, not right this instant. Good. Anyway, Hasegawa, of course, will be there. Aoshima will be there. Well, there's no real big tool from Aoshima this fall, but there'll be some, there's a couple reissues. Hasegawa, of course, has the new tool, Bluebird, from the 1990s. So very, very good show, I would assume, and we'll see what all is in store there. I'm very much interested, of course, in the new BMAX stuff, just to see what's coming beyond what's coming. Like, what are the, we know that the Audi R8 is going to come out sooner than later. Then you have the Porsche 935 Kremer 3. You have the BMW E46 320. Those are the next 3 new tools in terms of major developments. Although technically the Kremer 3 is a reissue because it's based on the Kremer 2 tooling that came out last year. But where's the Peugeot 306 Maxi? Where's the Porsche 911 rally car? Is there any movement on anything else and things like that? So should be interesting to see, and hopefully it'll be interesting for you guys to see. A couple days later. Anyway, I've sort of rambled on here long enough, and leave you there, and we'll see you guys on the other side.